Bank had taken out an amount of 5.3 billion cedis, constituting 75% of total assets of the bank. In the case of Royal Bank, an on-site examination conducted by the Bank of Ghana on 31st March 2018 revealed a number of irregularities. Its non-performing loans constituted 78.8% of loans granted, owing to poor credit risk and liquidity risk management controls. A number of the bank's transactions, totaling 161.9 million cedis, were entered into with shareholders, related and connected parties, structured to circumvent single obligor limits, conceal related party exposure limits, and overstate the capital position of the bank for the purpose of complying with the capital adequacy requirement. In the case of Sovereign Bank Limited, as part of Bank of Ghana's investigations into the failure of Capital Bank Limited, currently in receivership, it emerged that Sovereign Bank's license was obtained by false pretenses through the use of suspicious and non-existent capital. The bank is insolvent and unable to meet daily liquidity obligations falling due. Liquidity support granted so far to the bank amounts to 21 million as at 31st July 2018. The bank has not been able to publish its audited accounts for December 2017 in violation of Section 90 of Act 930. Beige Bank and Construction Bank were each granted provisional licenses in 2016 and launched in 2017. Subsequent investigations conducted by the Bank of Ghana revealed that, similar to the case of Sovereign Bank, both banks obtained their banking licenses under false pretenses using suspicious and non-existent capital, which has resulted in a situation in which their reported capital is inaccessible to them for their operations. Ladies and gentlemen, to support the government's twin objective of financial stability and strengthening indigenous banks, the Bank of Ghana is consolidating the good assets and liabilities of Unibank Ghana Limited, the Royal Bank Limited, the Beige Bank Limited, Sovereign Bank Limited, and the Construction Bank Limited to become the Consolidated Bank Ghana Limited with immediate effect. The bank has approved Mr. Daniel Addo as the new Chief Executive of the Consolidated Bank Ghana Limited. In addition, the government has appointed the following as the key management people to support in transitioning into the new established Consolidated Bank Ghana Limited. They are Mr. Simon Donu, who would be the Consolidated Bank Director in charge of Unibank, Mr. Alex Dodu, Consolidated Bank Director in charge of Royal, Ms. Kesua Brown, Consolidated Bank Director in charge of Construction Bank, Mr. Babatunde Ampa, Consolidated Bank Director in charge of Beige Bank, and Boulders Advisors Limited, led by Mr. Reggie France, as advisor to the Consolidated Bank Ghana Limited. The Bank of Ghana has also appointed Mr. Nidodu Amano of KPMG as the receiver in respect of the bad loan assets of the 5 banks under Section 123 of the Banks and Specialized Deposit-Taking Institutions 2016, that is Act 930. The government of Ghana has recapitalized the Consolidated Bank Ghana Limited to take on the selected good assets and all liabilities of these 5 banks. The government has also issued a bond of 5.76 billion cedis to cover the gap between the liabilities and good assets assumed by the Consolidated Bank. The Consolidated Bank Ghana Limited is expected to play a strategic role in the transformational agenda of the government. This provision is part of a fund set up by the government to help address all the legacy problems in the financial sector. Going forward, the Bank of Ghana will continue to strengthen its regulatory and supervisory framework in the financial system through the production of the basic regulatory and FRS 9 by banks, full implementation of the new minimum capital requirements for banks by the end of the year, strictly enforce fit and proper guidelines for shareholders, directors, and key management personnel of banks and SDIs, as well as other supervised non-bank financial institutions, strengthen the capacity and resources of our supervision department to undertake a comprehensive review and improvement of all supervisory processes and ensure strong enforcement of prudential and conduct regulatory requirements, strengthen overall financial stability risk assessments, and establish adequate measures to promote stability of the financial system, roll out implementation of the Deposit Insurance Scheme established under the Ghana Deposit Protection Act 2016, that is Act 930, and introduce banking sector cyber and information security guidelines to protect consumers and create a safer environment for online and e-payment products in line with the government's interoperability objective, and finally improve collaboration with other regulatory bodies to prevent regulatory arbitrage. To conclude, let me assure clients of the 5 banks that their deposits are safe. Clients of these banks can carry out their normal banking transactions at their respective banks, which will now become branches of the Consolidated Bank, Ghana Limited. All staff of the affected banks will become staff of the Consolidated Bank. We do not expect any immediate job losses as a result of this consolidation. Thank you.
From Joy FM, and help me out. Before you got to the actual situation of merging these banks, you identified some problems in the banking sector or these particular banks. So if they are toxic assets, if it's personal problem and all those things, how would putting these banks together address that problem? And that's the clarity that I want from you. And help me, this is the first of this kind. There is such a thing in Ghana. Help me out. Or viewing the bank license transaction area. Sorry, just help me out.
Do we have any other questions? Yeah.
My name is Egypt Sakiti from Reuters. I just want to know how this development and previous ones generally impact on the economy and banking, especially banking in the country.
My name is Suleiman Mustafa from the Daily Graphic. Governor, you've told us that customers' deposits are safe and there should not be any cause for alarm. But practically, before this press conference, a lot of people have gone to Unibank to withdraw some cash, and they were not able to get their monies. And up to now, some of the checks are still outstanding because there is no money.
No, I think let me deal with these questions. I think they're very useful and very, in a sense, connected also. The impact on the economy and this last question, because I think they go together. Because what you would have realized in the past few weeks has been a lot of uncertainty regarding the future of Unibank. And at least I think that today's action clarifies the situation. People who are not able to access their deposits in that bank will find that from today, now that we have been able to transfer all of those deposits to the consolidated bank, they should find that their deposits will now be easily available. So it takes away a lot of the uncertainty and anxiety that we have seen in the market over the past few weeks to months. I know that there are quite a number of financial institutions as well as individuals who have had their money in Unibank. And because of the ongoing investigations that were being undertaken, it's taken them a while to honor those deposits. But now that we have concluded this arrangement, set up the consolidated bank and transferred the depositors to the consolidated bank, I think that that problem should go away. And this is where the impact on the economy is. I think that the impact should be a very positive one. All the issues of uncertainty, the liquidity crunch in the system because depositors could not get access to their deposits. I think this action should help, lead to a relaxation of the liquidity crunch that we have seen over the past 4 weeks. We were all very anxious to move on and bring the Unibank issue to a close. And today, this is exactly what we have done. The bank is insolvent. We cannot continue to run that bank. So this is why the bank is being resolved. And the government, as usual, is intervening in this process by taking over the deposit liabilities of Unibank, passing them on to the consolidated bank, which the government has fully capitalized. So I think that it's a very good development and should bode well for the economy generally. This brings us to the question that you raised, Joy FM, in terms of toxic assets. Because what we are doing is similar to the purchase and assumption transaction that you saw in August, where GCB took the good assets and all the liabilities of UT and Capital Bank. This is the same sort of transaction. So Consolidated Bank is going to take the good assets of all of these 5 banks and all their deposit liabilities. So they are not taking any toxic assets. And this is why we needed a clean vehicle. This is the Consolidated Bank. It's a clean vehicle. There are no bad assets in that bank, only good assets, including fresh money of 450 million cedis minimum capital that the government has paid to get that bank running. So this is the story. I think the details it would be in the press release, which spells out the details of the arrangement.
And last round of questions. Yes, Maxwell, come closer.
My name is Maxwell Adebula from Graphic. If I can have an idea of the total assets of the consolidated bank as a result of the merger, the total assets that we have. You just mentioned that the government has given 450 million to capitalize it. Is that in addition to the 5.6 billion bond that is issued or is outside that? On the 5.6 billion bond, is it to be treated as 2018 fiscal liability or 2019 fiscal liability? And